2, 1, 0.
Hi, it's Amber with Resale Genius, and I'm back for 2025. Oh, I'm back for 2026. I'm a year behind already. No. To all who have watched me in the past, thank you so much for watching me again, and for all the new people, welcome, and thank you for watching too. Now today, since it is the beginning of the year, I'm going to go over 2 functions on Poshmark that have really been helping me sell and also learn some data about my closet and my individual listings. And that would be Posh Promote and Smart Sell. I almost forgot the name of that. But yeah, I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how I set mine up and all the different data and like the learnings that I've learned from it, and then also talk about the Smart Sell, which I think at first I was really apprehensive to use, and I kind of tested the waters a little bit, and then now I'm like, wow, this is really good. So I'm using it quite a lot, and I'd love to share those 2 things with you. So if those are interesting to you, keep watching. I'm going to show my screen. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm doing this on desktop. And right now we're at the main page for Poshmark. I'm already logged in. Now, if you go top right, there's this little arrow, click it, and there's all your options that you would be familiar with on the app. Now, why am I doing it on desktop? Well, there's some things that you can do on desktop that you can't do on the app anymore. So, go to my closet, and look what we have here. We have a little wrench. Now, if you go onto your app, that wrench is gone and it's been replaced with selling tools. So you can still do things on the desktop. So let's click it. And what you could do is you can share to followers, bulk. You can do a bunch of different stuff. But the main thing is share to followers in bulk, and then also share to parties in bulk if there was if there was a party going on right now. So share to followers. This might look familiar. It's similar to the app. So you can just go select all. And of course, you are going to want to make sure it's available. Now select. Now you're just going to scroll down to make sure it gets everything. You used to have to do this on the app for sure, otherwise it wouldn't share everything. And then just hit share. And now, as you can see, it is sharing all my stuff with 1 click. Well, maybe it's several clicks, but I did just want to point that out to you. Now, there's another thing that you can do on the desktop, and that is Posh Promote. Now, you can see Posh Promote on the app, but to do, oops. That was weird. So you can see some stuff about Posh Promote on the app, but on desktop is where you can actually set the price and that sort of thing and see a bunch of data. So we don't need to keep on doing this. We are going to go straight to Posh Promote. So again, up here with the arrow, My Promoted Closet. Click that. Now, what do we have here? So we have the performance of my Posh Promote for the past 30 days. As you can see, I've had over 31,000 impressions, which means somebody has seen the listing. Now that could be as they're scrolling. It just is in their face, but they don't actually click on it and they scroll right by. But somebody's eyes on it, that's an impression. Now a click is when that happens and then they actually stop and they click on the listing and look at it. So out of 31,000 impressions, I've had under 1,000 clicks. In the last 30 days, I've only had 1 listing sold from Posh Promote. So if you are selling other listings on your closet that sale was not generated from Posh Promote, you will not see it here. And I was worried about that because I didn't want it to take credit for all the sales I was getting if it wasn't truly Posh Promote. And I definitely have cleared that up. Your other sales will not show up on here. How do I know that? Because I've had way more sales than one in the last 30 days, and they're not showing up. So this is good because you can really analyze the performance of just Posh Promote and see if it's a value add or not. So I've made one sale for $150, but it took me $71.55 in order to make that sale. Now, that's not really that great, to be honest. You can also go down here and you can see 7 days, 30 days, 365. Let's go to 365. Okay, so you'll see here in the beginning, I did not do any Posh Promote. Then I started it, and then you'll see here, I canceled it, and then I started it again. And this is actually not a cancel, this is Christmas Eve. So I guess I didn't get any impressions on Christmas Eve, but I certainly did get sales. So right now I'm doing a $17 weekly budget. It's actually $15 now, but it's still showing the old one. To change that, you're going to go into here. It'll actually tell you what they recommend, which is $15. And I changed mine back to $15. I put mine up to $17 just, during like October, November, December, because, holiday shopping. And I thought, hey, maybe I'll get some more views. And it did work out pretty good, but not for the past week. So later, or next time I should say, I'll be turning the Posh Promote budget down a little bit earlier. So maybe third week of December. So you can stop it, you can set a custom budget, or you can just slide. That would be a lot. The least I can do is 8. Anyways, going back to the 15, I'm going to cancel because I already did that change. Now, this is cool because you can see more info, right? So of this, September 1st through now, essentially, without the, let's just pretend the pause didn't happen. I've had 116,000 impressions. So 116,216 people or users have put their eyes on something from my closet. Now, it could be one user multiple times, of course, but that's people putting eyes on my closet, or on an item, I should say, a listing. And here's 3,605 clicks. So as you can see, in the last 30 days, I had almost 1,000 clicks, and this is going all the way back to September, where I had 3,605 clicks. So what that tells me is that the $17 going a little bit above what they recommend actually makes a big difference. So keep that in mind. Now, in this, let's just call it fourth quarter of 2025, I sold 9 listings, again, from Posh Promote, not 9 listings total. That would be pretty bad. But it gave me an extra bump of 9 listings that I wouldn't normally have sold had I not had this going on. And the reason I know that is because otherwise they wouldn't be appearing here, and they wouldn't have showed it to those people in order for them to impress upon it, click, and buy. So from that quarter, I had almost $1,000 in sales, $957. But I had to spend $246.37 in order to make that happen. Now, when you look at that, that's a lot of spend. And if you're running tight margins, don't get caught up in this, because you need to add that to your margin, or I should say subtract it from your margin. So you should look at the ones that you sold and then subtract 246 divided by 9. And put it onto each one. You could also allocate it differently, of course, but just being rough here. Let's see, 246, 37 divided by 9 sales, and we've got about $27.40. So I would add the $27.40 to the Poshmark fee, for example, and recalculate my margin. That's how you know if it's worth it or not, essentially. Now, the other thing you can do is look at some of these other figures. So ROAS. Now, anyone who's into advertising or online advertising, for example, will know what all of these mean, but this is basically the return on each dollar you spent. So you can click this, but measurement of sales earned for every dollar spent on promoted closet. So I'm making almost 4 times as much as what I spend on the closet on my Posh Promote. So that's really good. Each click is costing me 7 cents. The average click-through rate, so the total clicks divided by the impressions, so that would be the 3,605 divided by the impressions of 116,000, comes out to 310%. And then this one right here, the average conversion rate. This is one that I like to use because I use this in other things, like I'm an Amazon influencer and an affiliate, and this gives me something to kind of base it on, I should say, although the numbers are different for Poshmark than they are for Amazon. And so you kind of have to track this for a little while and see what you're getting to see what's good and what's bad. Now you can see mine, so you can compare that to yours. And honestly, if you guys are using Posh Promote, I would love to see what your numbers are, specifically like your CVR percentage and your ROAS. That would be really interesting for us to all share so that we can kind of figure out, you know, what is really good, what's average, what's baseline. So anyways, you can also just go in here and you can see like each day what's going on. And then you can go down here. Now let's go back to 30 days, okay? So back to 30 days, my conversion rate is only 11%, and it is $2.1 for every, sorry, I'm saying it wrong. It's the sales earned for every dollars spent on the promoted. So I'm basically making over 2 times what I would normally make had I not done Posh Promote. Boy, am I tongue-tied today, I'm sorry. So yeah, so the performance wasn't quite as good, and that could be multiple things. It could be that in the last 30 days, you know, it was Christmas, and with the shipping delays and stuff, people weren't really buying stuff. They had already done their holiday shopping, perhaps. Or maybe it was just, you know, promoting it to people and they just didn't want to buy it. And that's where we can go into some of this other data. So in the last 30 days, I sold these Christian Louboutin closed-toe heels, and I sold them for $150. And I'm not going to click the order details because then you're going to be able to see the buyer and stuff. So keep her confidential. And this is what I really like. So this is in the last 30 days. What were your top promoted listings? And if you go through, you can see which ones got the most impressions. So this Kate Spade foam mink coat, it's so gorgeous, but it did not photograph well. And as you can see, there's 2,185 impressions and 58 clicks. So that's my top one. Well, it hasn't sold. And why hasn't it sold? Well, people are seeing it, people are clicking on it. What's going on? So that's what this report can kind of help you determine. For me, I know, you know, the impressions is just it floating by their feed, but the clicks is them actually clicking. So people are clicking on it, even though I think the photos are bad. I personally would like to change those photos just because this is one of my listings that I have a pet peeve about. Let's see, you can see some of your other ones. So these are going to be all these top ones here in the last 30 days. Those are going to be like your hot items. And those are the ones that probably have the best chance of selling because people are seeing them and they're clicking on them. Now, why would that mean that they're hot? Well, Poshmark obviously has an algorithm, as we all know. And in addition to running that algorithm for all searches and all listings and stuff, showing you what you want to see, this is even to the nth degree. This is really kind of narrowed down and precise. If they know you're looking for a Kate Spade faux fur jacket, and that's what you searched for, Kate Spade faux fur, for example, not necessarily that you have to search for that, but let's just give an example, then this pops up for them. And so you would probably devise that these items are more searchable or being searched more often than the rest of yours. And by the clicks, you can see which ones are being the most clicked. So these ones are the ones that I would go back and look, and I would say, okay, these ones need to sell. What am I going to do? So maybe I would take a look at the description and the title, well, mainly the description, and say, what's going on in here that is making the people not want to actually pull the trigger? The other thing I would look at, certainly, is the price, because people are very price sensitive, especially on secondhand market. And I don't know about you guys, but I think a lot of people are a little bit uneasy about their jobs and things that are going on in the economy. Now, that's not all across the board, and that's not in every location, but I have heard a lot from some groups of people. For example, I'm a tech ambassador for Google for Women in Tech, and many of the people in tech have lost their jobs. A lot of people in that group are looking for work. Now, I'm not really in tech, although I'm technical. In my other jobs, like when I was a CEO, I was heavily involved in tech, but not actually a tech person. So, side note. All right, so going back to this, you can go next and check these out. Now, let's see if I can find one. Here we go. This one right here has 0 clicks. So 191 impressions. So 191 people saw it in their feed or scrolled by it or searched for something and it popped up with the other stuff, but not a single person clicked. So what does that tell me? That tells me that this front cover image is crap and I need to change it, and I'm going to. The other thing it could mean is that the price is off. So those would be things I would be looking for. And, things that are, quite off, like this one only had 1, this one only had 3, etc. Here's some real low numbers on these ones too. And still, a fair amount of people looked at it. Now, if you change it to a year, you can even get more info. So here, it's these Gucci sunglasses. Almost 10,000 people saw them. 172 people clicked. That's a lot. That's definitely enough to buy them. And nobody bought them. So again, I'm going to have to look at the description and the price. Likely it's the price. Gucci sunglasses are expensive, or at least a lot of models are that you buy at the Gucci store. And these ones were quite expensive. And so I have them selling for a little sum of money. And unfortunately, Gucci just does not hold its resale value, especially now that Alejandro is no longer. But now that they have the old Balenciaga guy in, hopefully he can flip that around. But yeah, their price to resale value is just really off right now. Here's another one. This one is, over 5,000 impressions, 108 clicks. That's really good, but nobody's bought it yet. And this is actually a fairly new listing. It's not very old. This one is old as heck. This one is not very old. So this one to me has more potential, and I'm going to go ahead and look and see the price. And when you go and look at the price, you don't just want to look at it and be like, oh, I'm going to lower it. You want to look at the comps. And a good way to look at the comps, honestly, is through AI. Now, of course, you can go through eBay and look at the sold listings. You can go through Poshmark and look at the sold listings, searching for your specific item. But Gemini, and you may be using, a lot of different things, ChatGPT or whatever. Gemini, can you please open for me? Here's my Gemini. can see it. I'm going to say, can you give me comps for LV Lock Me wallet and mint color used? And I did not spell it right, but it doesn't matter because it still gives you the answer. Okay, so I wish I could make this bigger, but there we go, that's better. All right, it's gotten way, way advanced, you guys. I've really been obsessed with Gemini, partially maybe because I'm the Google ambassador, but it doesn't have anything to do with Gemini, just FYI. My mom is like a chat GPTer, and so I'm paying for the Pro on Gemini, and she's paying for whatever it is on ChatGPT. I think mine is like $19 a month, but how much I use this, oh my gosh, it's so worth it. Now, you don't have to pay for it, and you can still do this, but yeah, I love it. So look at what it's given me. So authentic LV Lock Mini wallet in good use condition, low end 250 to 325, and it even tells you, you know, like what the wear would be. The typical range 325 to 450, and then the high end 450 to 550, and that's like excellent, like new, and that's not mine. So I would be looking at really more on the low end, to be honest, and I think I have it priced more in the typical range. And then here it even gives you like a little checklist to go through with your item and really help you kind of visualize what your condition is of that item. So, you know, does it have deep scratches or discoloration on the hardware? Do you have all the stuff that came with it? Original purchase info. So I save all my receipts and I either include it with the sale and say I do, or I put it in the pictures. And I always redact it so they don't see my address or my credit card number and that kind of thing. And here's a Poshmark pricing strategy for you. So it's crazy because it's actually looking at this page and it's looking at my promoted closet stats, which, I mean, isn't that nuts? I've literally never done this before. I usually use it on my phone, but it's telling me, given your stats, you're getting decent traffic on this wallet. But on Poshmark, you want some room for offers, which honestly, I love pricing my stuff as close to asking as possible because I don't like the used salesman type thing, but people always expect to get something cheaper. So I would always add a little bit of a buffer onto your price, even if you don't like it. So here, the asking price, and then expect to accept. And then if it's been sitting for a lot of likes and no offers, try a price drop. And then blah, blah, blah. It's just giving me tons of information, okay? So that is awesome. Okay, so you can do that at home. And I just wanted to show you the Posh Promote because I was doing automation and I was paying about $45 a month. And I ended up canceling that and doing Posh Promote instead to see what the difference would be. Now I do like the data here. The only downside is, you know, the auto share and things like that I don't get, and then also the cross listing. Now, another reason why I stopped this one is because their eBay cross listing broke, and I really wanted to cross list on eBay for that price, $45 a month. So I was like, you know what? When you guys get it together, I'll rejoin. But I'm also hearing a lot about some of the other ones, so I might check out some of the other ones. But for now, it's just me. I'm doing everything manually except for my promoted closet and something that I really did not want to do at first, but once I started doing it, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. It's just a little hard to keep track of. And that is that auto offer. And you get that when you are selling an item. So bear with me 1 second. You can see me again. Hi. So yeah, so let me look and see if I can find that for you. So, okay, I have a listing here. Let me pull it back up. Give it a second. Okay, a couple things on this item. So I just listed this recently, and this is so funny. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but have you ever got a pop-up that said, error, problem, this is flagged as an inauthentic item. You know, it's against Poshmark's guidelines to sell fakes, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I've gotten that like a handful of times. I don't get it all the time, obviously, but I do get it. And every time I get it, it's wrong because I do not sell inauthentic things. So, for example, these Chanel sneakers are mine. I bought them myself from Saks Fifth Avenue in New York because they sell Chanel sneakers. And they're in pretty good condition. I really like these. But anyways, I put in the word Egyptian inspired. And that is because this is a special collection. It was Karl Lagerfeld's last, and it was very Egyptian. So if you remember like the beetle, the black and gold, and you know, those kind of patterns and colors, that was this. And so it was an Egyptian inspired runway or collection. Well, guess what? I hit list and it popped up with that error message. And I was like, ugh, not again. So I literally went through everything and I was like, okay, something is up with this. So I'm like, maybe it's like the 19A because sometimes faux things will be like AAA quality or something like that. And I'm going through and I'm going through and I'm adjusting and editing, and I can't get rid of it. And so I messaged Poshmark again. I did that the very first time it happened. And what they had said was, oh, it's okay. Just certify the listing and list it and it'll be fine. Well, it wasn't, because I noticed when I listed this and certified it, nobody shared it, zero. It did not show up on anybody's new listing feed or my followers' feeds. And the reason I know is because when I list an item, especially something like Chanel, I automatically see a bunch of shares. Share, 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 share. Sometimes like over 100. And, you know, this one had zero, which I thought was quite weird. Now, it only has one like, and that's kind of weird too. But let me finish my thoughts. So the actual culprit was Egyptian inspired. I got rid of inspired and turned it to focus, and then I was able to list it again. Now, back to my original thought. So let's say you're putting in this listing and you're going to list it. Okay, that didn't work. Oh boy. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Just pick a random draft. Okay. So I'm going to list this. Here we go. I don't know if I just missed this on the last one, but this is what I'm looking for. Smart sell. So automate sending, countering, and accepting offers. This is really cool. At first, I was a little overwhelmed and I was thinking, I really don't want somebody else handling my offers because, I mean, how are they going to know if I want to accept it? What if they offer something too low? Or what if they, you know, turn someone off and they just never buy it? So I was kind of like, I don't know, hyper controlling over my offers and things like that. But I decided to give it a shot on a couple listings that didn't really mean much to me. And now I don't have it turned on everything, but I have it turned on a lot of things. So the key is you can set your minimum price. It'll suggest one, but you can change it to whatever you want. Now, if you remember when we were looking at Gemini, Gemini was giving us that strategy, and it was saying, you could list it for this, and then this should be the lowest you should accept. And that's the number that you would put in to your minimum price. So let's take a look. All right, so the listing price is $15. It's suggesting a minimum price of $9. And what it will do is if somebody likes it, they'll automatically send them an offer. And that's something that I haven't really done in the past. I've done it for bundles, but not for likes. So they like it, they send them an offer immediately. So it's front of mind. And they're not going to do 9. They're going to try to do as much as they can. So maybe they'll offer like 14 or 12. I don't really know the rhyme or reason, but I do know that they try to get the best price for you. And if I wanted to change this to there's not a lot of leeway because this is $15 and I probably won't even charge $15. It's just a draft. But let's say we do like 14. It'll tell you what your minimum earnings would be. So if you're comfortable with that, then you can go ahead and list it, and then it will start doing it for you. Now, I'm going to show you what it's like. So if you go to my offers, so for example here, I only have 2, which is kind of crazy because yesterday I had like 25, but if I click on this, disregard the person, it's $315 and they offered $283. If you click on it, you can see it. So you listed it at $315, you offered $283, and that would be a $226.40 profit. Now, if she offered again, like a counter offer, then the smart sale would do another counter offer, and they would keep doing that until it went to my minimum or until they bought it. And I've never had anything go to my minimum. They're pretty smart about doing the offers. I wish I could show you some of the other offers because it's really cool seeing them go back and forth. But if you go back to offers, see this little purple thing right here with the stars? That's how you know that that's being handled for you. If you see another offer down here and it doesn't have that, that's a manual offer. So then you have to click on that and see if you want to accept it or whatnot. I think I'm going to have to do the rest in part 2. So today we just talked about Posh Promote and how you can use that data to help with your closet. And then we also talked about the lovely Posh offer. Oops. So today we talked about Posh Promote and how you can use that to check out the data, what it means for your closet and for your individual items, and some strategies on how to use it. And we talked about Smart Sell, which basically is what you can add on when you're listing an item, and you can set a minimum price, and then the Smart Sell bot will basically do your offers for you. The people who are buying, they don't know that it's not you, but I find it to be pretty good, and I've had actually quite a bit of sales from Smart Sell because, again, I wasn't sending offers after every like. I was doing it more on bundles. So I would say give it a try, but just make sure you're comfortable with that minimum figure. And that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love, again, to hear any of your stats from your Posh Promote so we can, compare click-through ratios and ROAS, things like that. I would love to find out what is a good benchmark because I really have no idea if I'm doing well or not, but I will say, the 0.25% is much better than the 0.11. And, typically online advertising does have fairly low conversion rates and stuff. So, this is Poshmark. It's different. than any other advertising, so you can't really compare apples to oranges. But yeah, if in the comments you've used either Smart Sell or Posh Promote and you have any data you could share or any thoughts, I would love to hear it. All right, everyone. Oh gosh. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's video. I talked a lot about Posh Promote, and I would love, again, for anybody to comment on your click-through ratio, your ROAS, if you've had success, if you like it, if you don't like it, how much you're spending. Are you spending above the recommended, or are you spending below? Are you doing it instead of something else like an automation or in addition? And then also the Smart Sell. Have you used Smart Sell? Has it helped you sell more? It's really helped me sell more. I think that it's been really good because I never did the offers to likers when they liked right away. I usually did it just for bundles. And so this is like, boom, send them an offer right away, and it's front of mind, and that's actually worked out. So thank you for listening and watching, and I would love to see your comments. Bye.